the word.
I'm not sure that's what Jesus meant.
And that's why he angry masturbates.
There it is.
Yeah, he needs to read the newer stuff. It lines up. Like, right?
It gets better, guys. It gets better, guys.
What's up? We're back. Again for the third time to start, fourth time.
The fourth time's the charm. Here we go, round 4.
We take it as if though it's just a commercial break. So that's how we're doing it right now.
That's the spirit. You know, I'm gonna make sure, real quick, this all is moving over.
And control Alt Delete.
Yeah, there we go. This should be perfect.
We're rocking and rolling. We're here with professional MMA fighter Sean Cerveny. Cerveny. I got it.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I got it.
What's your fight name? Leprechaun? Lucky?
Lucky.
Okay.
Kind of just, he started calling me, it kind of stuck.
Right. I remember it was in the little messenger and he just kind of changed all of a sudden. I was like, oh, okay, Lucky it is.
Well,
Who's the new guy?
I'm so happy though, because I always wanted a nickname that like everybody called me since I was a kid. I was like, man, I wish I had like a nickname. And then like, so I finally got like a nickname name.
Lucky, Rock Hound, everybody's got them. I got my nickname when I was in the Marines, so.
Nice.
It's stuck. There was no punchline to that, by the way, people. Sorry about that. I just wanted to feel like I was part of the group.
You know what? All right, let's just start it again.
No, go ahead.
I got nervous right now. I thought you were going to go up. I'm like, oh, God, are you fucking
Not one more time.
But they're gone now. Oh, but yeah, Sean, he has a fight coming up Friday, January 17th at Legacy 80 on UFC Fight Pass. It's going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico this Friday, January 17th.
UFC Fight Pass. I think they give out free trials.
Free trials, okay? Yeah. Take advantage of that, please. Watch this fight. It's going to be career changing.
I mean, if you don't watch it, I'll just probably hate you forever. But
Don't meet him in the alleyway. Take your leg off. Trust me, he took mine out before.
He's making just as much money right now to make sure he can see everybody that is participating. Once he gets more money, he's not going to be able to focus on who's not watching. So you guys don't waste your time now.
There you go.
Yeah. How you feeling, Sean? I've noticed you've always been real great at your like cutting weight. You're super disciplined, like you're always on track and shit like that.
Yeah, you know, it's just part of the job. You know, I ain't no bitch. That's really what it comes down to, you know.
Hey, that's a wrap. That's it.
Unless you're one of these guys trying to make some weight class because you're scared to fight people your own size.
Yeah.
You know,
not naming any names.
Yeah.
But he has a fight coming up.
Friday,
January 17th. Right?
Yeah.
It is what it. Well, people try to get an advantage. It is really ways, and it's a fist fight, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the stupid thing about cutting weight is it doesn't even give you an advantage anymore because everybody's cutting weight. Like if we all just agreed to never cut weight, we'd all be fighting the same people, the same size people. We'd just be fighting at a higher weight class.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But,
Thank you. I've been thinking that.
Yeah, but like one day some motherfucker came along and was like, hey, like if I lose like 10 pounds before weigh-ins, I could be way bigger. But then everybody does it now, so we're all still the same size.
Eventually they just started getting like naked, and I was like, what's going on here? Wait a second. Like, why are we shooting so much?
Coming off. I just stood a super heavyweight. I fought 201+. I wasn't going to deal with it. I'll just make sure I knock him out. That was the only way I'll be able to.
And you'd feel good going in too.
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely. I didn't eat heavy. I was eating very clean. I just so happened to be one of those dense guys. I wasn't very tall, but you know, just with the training and how you move and how you are with your opponent, you can really make a difference between. You know, it's like a night and day thing when somebody walks in there prepared. You know what I mean? So I never actually felt like I had a disadvantage, except for this one guy. He was like 6'7", and he was closer to 300 pounds. And that fight was just, I mean, he fought like he had his family hostage somewhere. And there I was, you know, going in there. And at the end of the day, I ended up winning the fight. But it was just, I just didn't feel so great afterwards. You know what I mean? Like my ribs was all. It was all mashed up.
It was a little bit of brain damage.
Yeah, a little bit of brain damage and shit. I was slurring my words on that Monday morning. I was trying to give a brief at work, you know what I mean? But, you know, hey, morality speaking, I won the fight, so fuck it.
I just want to touch on that point, actually, why Rock Hound was such a godsend, because, you know, having a striking was, like, always something I never put enough time in the past. I was just so grappling, so jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And then when I met Rock Hound, he deals with all the same things as a fighter physically that I have to deal with. You know, he's always the shorter guy, and I've seen his fights. Like, he fucks guys up, too, so it's like the proof is in the pudding. I've seen him do it. So the stuff he puts together that works for him just can translate right to me because I'm shorter than everybody I fight, too. Yeah. So having a coach that can understand that and basically just shoot his wisdom down to me works out really well for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed a huge improvement in my boxing
Oh yeah.
and striking since I started working with him.
Yeah, I was training with you before, and then after he came in, and I was like, fuck, like,
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's just like, oh shit,
You're like, oh,
he's moving his
okay.
head. I know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought we were friends, but like, you beat me up and stuff, and then you tell him how to beat me up while he's beating me up. So I'm like, guys.
The trick is you gotta bribe him with candy. That's the thing. I don't know. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their thing. You know what I mean? Because the Amato, he's got his way with Tyson. Angelo, he had his way with Ali. You know, and you know, you gotta. In this case, it's just a lot of candy. You know what I mean? You gotta give him the treats every once in a while, kind of like the horse with the carrot in front of him. You know what I mean? Find out what the fighter wants, and then you hold that against them. You know, and make that barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have any questions. You go
Rock.
ahead.
Well, you were saying
Say it
earlier.
again.
You were saying earlier that, well, we know with Sean, that he's well versed on the ground, comfy on the ground and stuff, and you're pretty self-disciplined. So like the diet, the regimen, all that stuff, it's pretty much on your own.
Yeah.
But adding or finding Rock or adding that striking the stand-up implement, you were saying how that you feel kind of gelling them all together, making a complete mixed martial artist, right?
I see it as the fire. I see it as the fire triangle. You got three components. All right. I won't use the Harry Potter reference this time, right? But you got three components. Shout out J.K. Rowling. The thing is that you got three components. You know what I mean? In order to create the fire, you need the oxygen, you need the fuel, and you need the chemical part of it. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. There was the third one. I don't know if it was chemical or something else. But how to suppress a fire? You got to take one of those out, and you no longer have a triangle. In the fighting, I see it as the same way. You gotta have, well, in the MMA world, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta have the physical drive and the discipline to be able to maintain your dieting and the weight cuts and all that, and be able to put up with all the stupid stuff that's gonna come along with the fight, right? Because it's never just the fight; it's everything else that comes with it that makes
Especially
it
the higher level, you get a legacy fighting
You're
championship.
getting higher, right? And then you got the other side with training on the ground, and then you got the other side of the triangle with the stand-up part of it. You know what I mean? He's got all those three now. He's now the master of death and deadly, according to the Deathly Hallows. I went back to Harry Potter. I'm sorry. So anyway,
I enjoy Harry Potter.
It's the best way I can understand. I can make people understand this. You know, so he's got it. He's got it all now. At any point, and we've proven that when he fought when he fought the demon. What was his name?
Joel Scott.
Joel Scott. That's how quickly he finished him. I can't even remember the kid's name. Okay, all right, because this guy was what, had 20-something fights, right? So much experience. He had what, like 15 wins and like 12 losses or something like that. I mean, he had just a lot of fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a whole lot of fights. You know what I mean? And the thing is that Lucky went in there after dealing with me. Lucky went in there and finished him in a minute. Okay, and what made it even worse, made me feel a little insecure. Well, confident but insecure at the same time, was that after that fight, he flat out told me as we were walking back to the locker room, he says that was the first time I ever landed a punch in an MMA fight.
Yeah.
I quote. That was the first. Now, mind you, he's fought like 4 times before this, okay? All right? He's fought
10 total, 4
10
professional.
total, okay?
That's
But
10
in an
fights.
MMA
That's
fight, he flat
amateur
out
count.
told me on the way back, I have never landed a punch in an MMA fight until today. Okay,
Right.
so I mean,
Yeah.
what does that tell you? You know what I mean? He's got all 3 components. There's no way
Yeah.
he's gonna not make it into a level to where it's gonna be absolutely shown into the world. You know, and with a guy like me, I don't get intimidated off of. I'm a little cocky about that. I don't get intimidated off of big names. You know what I mean? I don't care where you come from. You can come from the Greg Jackson gym. You can come from TMB. You can come from TMZ, 18 Sprint, all of it. You know what I mean? You can come from all that. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not worried about it. Okay, all right. I'm not worried about it. Okay, because as long as my little happy triangle is going on, you can't beat us, pal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you are gonna beat us, you're sure as hell gonna remember our fucking name. You're gonna remember our name. You know. And that's just the way it's gonna run, and I'm so confident in it, and it's gonna be a wild night, and it's gonna be a wild night for this guy. I already feel sorry for him. So he seems like a nice guy, but you know he ain't gonna feel too
It's
good.
all business.
It's all
Yeah.
business.
Go in there,
It's all
handle business, and it is what it is.
And a lot of it is having someone coaching you to throw punches and stuff, you know, because I would go in there pretty much. I used to go in there just a jiu-jitsu guy. I wouldn't even try to throw punches. I would just go out there and
It's what you know.
basically have a grappling match and tap guys out. But now, you know, fights start on the feet. Like, you got to be able to take it apart, you know, A, B, C, D, whatever. I don't know where I'm going with this, but you got to be able to fucking punch people.
Well,
you know?
if you go in there with a straight like a Damian Maya or something, where you just go in there with one speciality and then nothing, You're already at a
Yeah.
disadvantage because
Yeah.
you're standing.
What if somebody survives that, right? That's what you're saying. Like, what if somebody survives that? What if somebody
Eventually-
survives it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
it's
get-
good enough defense to nullify, at least good enough to not get subbed,
Yeah,
right?
eventually somebody's gonna be able to at least shut your attacks down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or keep a range maybe or something
Yeah,
like that.
and
I
force you
get
somewhere
reminded. You know,
else.
we were talking about this, me and Lucky. We're talking about how Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
When that happened, you know,
Night out of
what if
partying before, by the
what
way.
if somebody survives it? You know what I mean? What if
Yeah.
somebody survives
They weathered-
the way that man attacked you? You see what I'm saying? And what if somebody survives? Right? That's the way I think about it. And that's the constant talks I have with this kid. Is that 80% of the fights, 85% of the fights, mind you, they always end up on the ground, right?
Mhm.
But 100% stand at the fucking feet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
100% start off at the feet. 100%.
And vice
You know?
versa, your last fight, the guy was a great striker, right?
Oh.
And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
survived the striking.
He
and
had
yeah.
some knockout wins. Yeah,
Yeah.
knocked out a world champion in jiu-jitsu, Justin Rader.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. So so
had
you
some
survived
power.
his punching, and then you had fucking Rock teaching you how to
Yeah,
punch.
it's
Right.
funny.
Yeah.
Right before I finished him, the commentators were talking about how I was gonna walk into one of his punches. And,
Yeah, right.
oh, he's in danger now. And then as they were saying that, I was finishing my submission.
I mean, they may have been right in the striking department, but like you said, if you can't put it, and I noticed that because when I used to compete, I competed at I don't know what the amateur for light heavyweight is for boxing.
Oh, light heavy.
Is it
That's
170?
175.
Yeah, 175.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Amateur, no. It was
Light
60 something.
heavyweight is 175, and I think light heavyweight is
It's like
between
160.
168 or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Around there.
So I was competing at whatever the fuck that is,
Uh.
and then but then I moved up to heavyweight. I got bigger. I grew into my man body, and I just noticed that I wasn't being able to hurt guys as usually as I was being
Yeah.
6'2", you know,
Yeah.
kind of lanky. I had the pop on it.
Right.
But then these guys were eating my shit, and I was like, what the fuck? So I had to have plan B, plan C.
Oh,
They
yeah.
ended up surviving, kind of like you
Yeah,
did.
and what also another thing I just want to say, I fought that guy with a broken nose, so we had no sparring for like
Yeah.
that whole fight camp. I couldn't spar for like 6 weeks. I was like, I could either be undersparred or just keep fucking my nose up more, so I just decided to try and let my nose heal.
Yeah.
But
You know, the biggest thing, and we're talking about his last fight, and you know what? Let's talk about the last two fights, because after that he fought J.J. Mariano, who was a
that
collegiate
was
boxer,
boxing.
and he had over 100 fights, right?
Yeah, that was
over
a
100
boxing
fights.
match
Amateur
going
fights.
on in
100,
MMA fight.
over 100 fights.
Yeah.
Fought at collegiate level, okay?
That's great.
Over 100 fights.
Yeah.
He had the whole commission on his ass, cheering him on, okay? So this guy was serious. Anyway, but
Yeah, the commission was literally cheering for him in my
to where I
from
had to
the
grab an
ringside.
official. I had to grab a state official and say they can't do, because I know they can't do that.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I've been in the
Yeah.
game for a
Yeah.
while, and I said they can't be doing that. He's like,
For
no, you're
real.
right. Hold on, give me a second. So they walked over there, had to set him up. That's another story for another time. Hopefully, we get invited back to the show.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Anyway, so I'll save that one, people. So here's the thing. So here's the thing. It was a matter of watching. He couldn't spot, right? He couldn't spot. So it was a matter of watching this kid. Joel Scott, just like this guy here, Cooper, he can't fight off the back foot. He can't. Joel Scott could not. He can attack, but he can't fight off the back foot. Second he gets pressed back, he's going to get flat-footed. He's going to create a base, and you got him there.
Straight back.
So when Joel Scott hit him with the shot, Lucky got back up. He was prepared for luck. He did that leg-to-leg movement, that infamous MMA leg-to-leg movement, right? And backed him off to a weighted distance. Lucky comes up with his hands up, moves his head, gets into a little bit of a squabble. They exchange back and forth at close range, and Lucky cracks him with an overhand right into where Joel Scott is flying in the back of the cage. Now he's going like this, looking like a stepped on a cockroach, you know. And his legs are like his
There's
hands
a
and legs
picture
are like
of
this,
him
like holy
exactly
shit,
like that too.
you know. And his back is on the cage now, and he's like, what the hell's going on? Because as I remember, and you heard this shit at the weigh-ins, somebody yelled out, "He's just a grappler."
He's just a grappler.
He didn't expect this shit coming. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So I would never, like I told Lucky, and I don't know if a lot of people get the point. I'm never gonna tell Lucky, hey, throw away the wrestling part of it. I'm just gonna make you a striker. No. You don't do that with any fighter. You don't, because I've heard the criticism through the grapevine. You know, and the thing is that I gotta feel like I gotta defend myself with this kid, because like, I'm not changing you. I'm just gonna teach you how to get to where you want to go, and how you're gonna get there is by throwing these.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
He's never once tried to like tell me not to grapple or like you know what I mean. He just wants me to be able to, in his words, take it there on my terms, not as a defensive because I have to grapple because that's all I have. You know.
No, absolutely not. You're not going to get, and if any fighters are listening right now, pick up a book by Cus D'Amato. It's a short book, and he talks about how when he trained these guys, he don't want you to win. He wants you to win miraculously. He wants you to win amazingly to where people are going to say, we got to get this guy back here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And winning is just not enough. Doing enough to win is never going to be enough, especially to this unpleasant crowd that we have these days that are watching these fucking fights. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Sitting on the...
Stand him up! Stand him up!
Right, talking shit,
Why
right?
does he
It's
just
never
stand
going to be
up?
easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now the caliber of fighters has got to lift up. You know what I mean? So if we're going to win, we're going to win in a miraculous way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
And
just
that's
talk
where my
about
head's
shit
at.
a la.
That too. You know, get paid for it.
That's
You
why
know,
Rock's here.
that's why I'm there. Okay, that's why I'm there. But anyway,
I don't,
you
I don't
know.
like talking shit. I don't
No.
like being mean to people. So
No, he doesn't. You know, but it's just
He
the
doesn't
word.
need to
It's-
talk shit, trust
It's
me.
it's such a cesspool, such a disgusting cesspool to step into and just wipe your face with all that used water. But if you want to make it big, pal, you gotta get in there, you know. But
You talking about New
so good.
York or no? I'm kidding.
Everywhere from the sides of the East Coast is pretty much a cesspool, okay? Shouts out the Bronx. Look, here's the thing. That's where we're at. Now, JJ Mariano dealing with a total different fighter. That was a striker.
Yeah,
That was
he
a
was-
striker.
yeah.
That is an absolute striker. Spent his
He's a
lifetime doing
boxer.
that. And absolutely a boxer. Nobody hits like boxers, pal.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
You got your great Thai fighters, you got great Dutch kickboxers, Kimpo kickboxers, all that stuff, but nobody hits like a boxer. You know what I mean? Nobody hits like a boxer. To prepare for that was a task on me that was just brutal because not only was my heart going like this, you know what I mean? Because
you know what
not
that
because
dude was
I didn't
capable
have,
of.
I didn't have. It's not that I didn't have the confidence in him.
we
It
only
was
had
the
like
fact that
9 days.
yeah,
It was
he
short
took it-
notice,
and he took it on
though?
late,
Yeah,
late
9
notice.
days.
That's what's even worse. You know what I mean? And like I have to
How about
constantly
that?
be prepared for that. You know, and the thing is that killed me was you have a shot of winning, and I told Lucky this. You got a shot of winning, and in those fights, in that fight, there was times in there where all he needed was like 4 more rounds. If it would have been a 10-round fight or a 6-round fight, it would have been very different because he was catching them as time went. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And
I wasn't even tired. I felt like honestly at the end of the 4th, I felt like I was just getting warmed up.
You know what I mean? And just to analyze. So at that point in time, I think Lucky finally started to trust me. And I know you say you trusted me before, but you can see a difference because everything that kid threw at him, I told him it was going to happen before the fight went in there. This is how it's going to happen. This is what he's going to throw. This is how he's going to move. Now, it's up to you what you do with that information. Doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and be quiet. I'm still, that commission guy must have been deaf out of his left ear because I was screaming so fucking much, pal, to where he was like, whoa, pal. You know what I mean? You know?
You ended up subbing him? Chuck?
What?
You
No, that
ended
was a
up-
boxing
Yeah,
match.
Oh, it was a boxing
Yeah,
fight.
boxing
Oh, I
match.
thought it was an MMA fight.
So Lucky lost, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing that killed me was that I was telling this whole team, and I even shouted out to the commission right there because Lucky was sent there as a stewed fish. This was
Yeah.
the
Oh,
guy that was
yeah,
supposed
that's
to
what
make
boxing. Oh, right.
You know,
I
he
got
was the guy, this is the
something.
guy that was
Yeah.
supposed to make him look good, right?
Yeah.
He was supposed to just put him away,
Yeah.
and he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it. Lucky
Right.
stood his ass right there, toe to toe, and said, "Bring it on, bitch."
You can hear on the video his corners yelling, "Finish him!" from like the first round through
Couldn't
the whole
do it.
fight.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that says a lot about him already, you know. And it's just this fight is just I'm so confident in it. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure that the scouts are there.
This guy's not going to be able to box like the way that other guy.
Oh no,
No,
absolutely
no. He's a
not.
wrestler.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely not. As a matter of fact, that one fight
wouldn't
already
even wanna wrestle with this
already
guy.
lacked 3 times in the amount of ring time he's had compared to what this other guy's got.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the other guy, he finished both of his fights.
Yeah, three
You know what I
of
mean?
my fights are less than a minute in the first round, and
Right.
the
cool.
longest one was like 2 minutes, and that guy showed up hella overweight. Like it was supposed to be at 135, he weighed in at like 152.
That's right. Yeah.
And I also
Yeah.
had surgery 3 days before that fight on my throat, but
Yeah.
I was broke. Just said fuck it, still fought. And that was my longest fight, and that was 2 minutes.
You know, and all that stuff. I just got to be careful how I promote this guy, man, because I'll be talking so much trash. And I'll be like I'm thinking I'm like lifting him up, right? But I'm really just talking trash on my guy, Lucky. Like he's got nothing to live for. He's such a bum. He doesn't even have a job. You're not even prepared for the shit that he goes through. Eating out of trash cans and shit. He's nothing, nothing, right? You know. And I look at Lucky like I love you, kid. You know what I mean? And it's
People
just
like
it's,
dropping coins.
like,
I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, like,
Okay, really shit,
like,
yeah,
hey,
bro.
whoa,
Sorry.
Have yourself
I gotta
a
think back,
sandwich,
like,
kid.
you know,
So you're looking skinny.
and I'm thinking back of the shit I said about the kid. Like, you know what? who was I helping? Who was I helping there? You know?
He's got bad credit. He's
Exactly.
late on his car payment.
Terrible credit. Can't even make a car payment.
No 401k.
I had to help him with his rent the other day. I don't even get paid for this shit. You know, and you know, so I gotta watch it promoting this kid. You know what I mean? But
Hey, you know what I noticed, Rob? But back on like the commission stuff,
Yeah.
about the boxing stuff, they're super prejudiced towards MMA.
oh yeah,
Super, man.
Oh,
because
yeah.
boxing's
Like
been
that
around
for a
for
while.
hundreds of years, and MMA is relatively, 20-some years is relatively
There's so much
new.
money to
It's
be
just
made.
a
Yeah.
different. It's,
Even the pay scale, you know what I mean? Like Canelo, for example, getting,
Oh,
bang,
yeah.
well
Oh,
deserved.
yeah.
But I mean, I feel the top tier MMA guys should be making similar.
Right.
The thing about boxers too is when they have a guy that's good, they protect him and just
Oh,
feed
yeah.
him. They just feed him
Floyd
cans.
was 37-0
Very,
before he
very-
fought a good guy, Oscar. You know what I mean?
They
Very
actually,
political.
a boxing
Very
promoter just
political.
hit me up not that long ago. So my
Bad
boxing
leg.
record is 0-2, and he hit me up to fight a guy that was like 8-0 with like 7 knockouts.
Oh, God.
And I was like, who? Like, and I was talking shit to him. I was like, I got a fight already lined up that weekend. I was like, but if you want to pay me like in the future, I'm down for that. I was like, but I see how all these boxers be making it to like 18-0, 19-0.
right,
Okay.
right.
Like, what kind of matchmaking
No,
is
no,
that?
bums, man.
And what I do is that I take that knowledge and I trickle it over to the MMA side of things.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
don't be intimidated by these guys' high wins because it's starting to trickle over to MMA.
Yeah,
if you really pay
a
attention,
little
a lot of
bit,
people, a
yeah.
lot of people are
That's
starting
what
to be
sucks.
fed stupid
Bellator
fish. You know
right
what I mean?
now. It's like
You know what I mean? A lot of
they
people
got
starting to be
fever,
It
big
wasn't
funny
like
fish.
it wasn't like that. Cain Velasquez got a title shot in his 10th fight, but he was fighting the best guys.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean?
Right. It depends on the promoter. Dana
Yeah.
White is a promoter.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It depends on that. He wants to put the fights together
Yeah.
that people are going to want to
Yeah,
see,
these
which
guys-
is why.
There's no fucking easy fight.
Yeah, these guys though that just fight we call them they're
Yeah,
called cans
fucking
because they
buns,
just crush
tomato
them,
cans, yeah.
But these guys that just fight cans, get to 10-0, yeah, maybe they'll get in the UFC. But then they're fighting
They
the,
get
the
smoked.
best competition and they just get exposed and smashed.
Yeah, and because it is a business, and that's the mentality on it, and boxers have this whole thing against MMA guys, and I see it and I've witnessed it. I witnessed it firsthand. And I'm gonna throw Lucky under the bus here for a second because the first boxing match he had, he was like, man, I was just hated on because I was never fair. But okay, got you. Sorry about that. So he had a fight. Where was it? Where was this fight? Somewhere in Texas.
Boxing is Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. He's telling me that he was, being in the street. He had his little Gracie shorts and shit, and you know what I mean. He was going in there, so
Yeah,
he's
well, I took
being
that one
hated
on 5
right?
days notice. It
Took it
just
on
kind
5
of
days
came up. I was
notice,
like,
you know,
fuck it. Didn't
it
have
was
any
just-
boxing trunks.
It was hated on, right? So he's got me this
Yeah,
time, and we're over there in Reno, Nevada. You know what I mean? Little mini Vegas, right? And I'm calm, cool, and collected because I've already made my stop to the whorehouse there. And I'm doing
Been
good.
around
So
the
I
block.
go back over. You know what I mean? Lucky, how's it going,
Got a
right?
shot of penicillin.
And
Just in case.
so the best way I can compare it was to a movie by Adam Sandler. If you've seen it, was Happy Gilmore, because every time Lucky went to any table, he had to remind the people that he was an MMA fighter, right? Hey, I'm an MMA fighter, but I'm boxing today, right? And I'm looking at the kid. I said, listen, you want to talk to me about how you were against the prejudice against and all that shit, and you're doing it to yourself, kiddo, okay? All right? And he was like, what? I said, stop. You're a boxer. You're boxing. You're a boxer right now. Stop.
The doctor, you know this is an or this is a boxing.
The
match,
doctor
right?
had to stop. The doctor was so serious. The doctor was so
Yeah,
serious.
yeah.
Like he had no
fucking
room for
annoying.
sarcasm, right?
annoying.
And he looks right at him and he says, this is a boxing event, right? And I said, he knows that, Doc. He knows it. He just
Yeah, I was-
just pass him. Pass him.
I was fucking with him because he was saying he couldn't feel my heart rate. I was like, yeah, man, I'm a vampire.
And he had no humor, the guy.
He was like, what do you mean? He looked at me. And said,
Garlic and a wooden steak.
yeah.
He's like, what?
I was like, man, just keep feeling my pulse. Like, you'll find it. Never mind.
Should have been like Jim Halpert. I ate some garlic bread earlier, but my neck is fucking burning.
I know.
So that was our adventure at Top Rank. That was his televised event. That was your first time being like legitimately televised, right?
Yeah. And honestly, I should have never been there. I guess nobody wanted to fight that guy, and it just came up. They offered me some money. They paid for my MRIs and medicals. I was like, fuck it, I ain't doing nothing this weekend.
Quote from, and Timothy Bradley was there. All kinds of big names were
Bradley.
there. Okay, and they were commentating on the fights. So Andrew Ward was there. You know what I mean? And I quote during his fight, "It's an entertaining fight."
Yeah.
He's a marketable guy. He's a marketable guy.
It ain't pretty, but it's fun to watch.
It
That's what
is.
they
It
say.
ain't pretty, But it's an entertaining fight, and I would watch this.
Right.
I would
And
watch it
you
again.
won over the commentators too. Like,
Yeah,
you listen
yeah.
to
Oh,
him,
yeah.
and they're
Hey,
like, he's
oh, yeah.
you can tell
Well-
him if he's doing good. Like,
Whether I win or
yeah.
lose, I usually always win the crowd.
Win the crowd.
Like,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
our big motto: win the crowd and fuck the other guy. And my other quote was, "Don't sacrifice your positioning for the other guy's safety."
Yeah.
Right? Don't ever do that.
Win the crowd.
Win the crowd. You know what I mean? And I feel like that went too serious. I should have had a punchline on that. Anyway, go ahead. What were
I
you
thought
gonna
it would
say?
have been funny, like, since you were like talking about like how to promote and stuff. Like, if you just showed up in a tuxedo today, and just like, but like,
you got tuxedo money to be lending me?
you just go like to like Goodwill, just find
Just
one.
the top of tuxedo
You
t-shirt.
should be holding an
Yeah.
axe, right? What's the one promotion you got right now? What's the one sponsor you got?
Oh, Armory Axe. Can you remind me at the end to say something about
You
my
can do it
sponsor?
now.
1 second.
Yeah.
You forgot to mow the lawn, kid?
I don't know, right?
So you guys,
Shouts out Armory Axe.
I'm doing a
Go ahead.
podcast right now, sir.
Yeah. Shout out to Armory Axe House. They have a throne range, axe throne range that makes all kinds of Damascus steel axes and knives. Shout out to Alamo Botanicals for all your CBD hemp needs. Get 'em Gone Animal Control, 100% humane animal control. Mulder's Custom Creations. They make like wood and stuff, and like signs, all kinds of custom woodwork. And who else is it? Is that it?
You got another one?
Alamo Botanicals, Armory Axe. I think that's it. Sorry if I forgot anybody.
Shout out to my sponsor, Adult Megaplex. You guys' new model of the Urban Ebony dildo. It has been an absolute game changer in the
it's working
bedroom.
wonders on my back.
The thing is that I got the double-headed one. You guys see it? It's San Antonio, Texas Adult Megaplex. A lot of great prices, great people. It's totally comfortable. You can go in their shop, not be judged.
Cut his mic. Cut his
Whatever.
Kevin, cut his mic.
You know, get whatever you need in there. And
Do people still go in there? Like, I thought it was all online now.
I am that weird guy that goes.
I
in
went
there
to Adam and Eve
walks in
yesterday.
there,
got
trench
some-
coat.
right? Like I what I usually do, I like to have fun with it. You know what I mean? Because
Kids, get off.
I'll go to the aisles and stuff like that, and I'll stand by the gate porn and I'll just stare at people. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? Especially because you got a lot of what's that?
I was saying, since we're going into it, you should explain how you got your nickname Rock Hound.
So
in the Marines.
my nickname Rock
Thank
Hound
you
is
for telling that
a
story.
legitimate. Like, you gotta understand, like these nicknames and calls, it's actually a call sign, and all these stuff. It's always done by experience. Like, I didn't wake up and I was like, you know what, call me this. You know what I mean? It was given to me. You know, and so I'm on deployments and stuff like that. I was active duty Marine Corps. And I got caught masturbating so much by my superiors, and she, you know, they just couldn't take it all the time. You know what I mean? And like me personally, and the worst about it is that I didn't stop. You know, I would look right at you. You know what I mean?
like mid conversation, you were just.
I would not stop. You know what I mean? And just before that is that before deployment, I tried going into a point. I'm out now, so they can't do nothing to me. So they can't do nothing to me. They can't NJP me for this. But I went to. We're obviously in Southern California. At the time, it was the porn place to be. You know, now it's like Miami, I think, or something like that. But it was a porn place to be at the time. You know what I mean? We're talking like 2009 or whatever. It was between. After my last deployment in Iraq, going into Afghanistan for the first time. So I decided to try to make a porno, and I got in contact with some people, right? So I didn't know this, but you got to go through phases of tests, you know what I mean? And not like written tests. Like, first your interview, they get your personality and stuff like that. They thought you were great. Okay, cool. So the first level of it, they said, look, we're going to have to ask you to see if you can actually rise to the occasion, so to speak, so that way, you know, you're not nervous around cameras and things like that. So I said, okay, no problem, you know. I said, all right, I'm young, I'm healthy, usually I can get this shit up right now. It rained outside. I masturbate so much in the shower at the time that if it rained outside, it's coming up. I'm good, you know. And so next thing you know, they're like, okay, cool. These three large men, one of them black, and
Oh man, rapid, quick.
and so, okay, real quick, and they come in, they said, yo, okay, go ahead and drop your pants, and we got to see this whole thing. And I said, where the girls at? They said, no, there's no girls, pal. Like, you got to do it now.
You pay more for that shit, I heard.
Wait, no, it wasn't like a gay point. They just want to see if I can get it up with that kind of pressure.
Oh.
My dick was so hard.
Shit, we got Rock Hound in the building. We got Sean Cerveny fighting this weekend, Legacy Fighting Championship, UFC Fight Pass.
Thank you guys.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
That was fun.